Hey everybody, what is going on? You are checking out an all new The RCWR show covering the latest in all things wrestling entertainment and beyond since 2011. Here we are for the final RCWR show of 2021. Yeah, this is it, because I'm not going to be back with you guys live again until actually day one. Yeah, that is when we're going to be back, and we will definitely go over that WWE Day 1 pay-per-view card. I'll give you guys my thoughts, and we'll definitely go over match predictions and all that good stuff later on in the show. You know how we do it. Hope you guys have had a fantastic week so far. As I know some of you guys that's watching the audio or watching the webcast, you're seeing me play around with something. That is because just about now, we almost had a light on a tripod fall here. So that would have been interesting. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, that would have been interesting had that came crashing down. But it looks like I got it just in time. I got to do a little straightening up on this side. I've been able to straighten up this whole studio, but this side isn't tacky at all. It's just a little bit cluttered. I've got some papers I've collected over the years, nice and boxed up, but it's kind of messing with what's going on with the tripod over here. But yeah, man, Hump Day is here, and we are just a couple of more days. I can't wait for 2022, to be honest with you. We are just a couple of days away from being done with 2021 altogether, onward to 2022. I'm ecstatic. I can't wait. I know a lot of you guys are as well. Of course, for those of you that are big sports fans, especially following NFL, of course, I will talk about the passing of John Madden later on in the show. Without a doubt, I will be talking about that and loads more. So, yeah, kick on back, stay a while, and we're going to have some nice fun. We're going to try to keep this show a little bit as short and sweet as humanly possible. A couple of reasons. One, I haven't even been home that long, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I actually was supposed to get a ride from wifey, and she got sidetracked with some stuff at work. She got hit with some last minute stuff, so I actually ended up taking a Lyft. And by the time I got home, sadly, the little one, for those of you that might have missed Monday's show, I introduced our family and everything to the newest addition to the Sanders household, Chloe. And she is a cute little furry, energetic. She's very vocal. She is very vocal. And today was the first day since the Christmas holiday break, because we pretty much got her, what was it, Christmas Eve. We got her Christmas Eve Friday night. And today was officially the first day that I had to be out and about, actually had to physically go to my day job, and then get done with that, then go over to the night job. And it was rough for her. Apparently it was rough for her because I had asked for my mother-in-law to check in, see if she could check in on Chloe, make sure everything was okay with her. And I had heard, yeah, she's good. She's just hollering. She's just whining. And it's like, oof. And I tell you what, when I came in here tonight, not even that long ago, I haven't even been home for, I think now it's about to hit an hour. Like maybe in about 2 minutes tops, it's about to hit an hour that I've been in the house. But when I came in the house, she was hollering. I mean, just fussing like you wouldn't know what. She continued to fuss even after I picked her up. You'd have swore something traumatizing had happened to her, and I did my very best. I left her some water. I left her some nice food. I definitely laid out her pee pads, all that good stuff. Put some nice bedding. I did all this in the tub, basically, and I left the door open so that as far as interactions go, she could at least have some type of interaction with my pick-a-me's, Maggie. Maggie's been around, in real time, Maggie's been around for 13 years. Out of those 13 years, I've known Maggie for almost 11, I believe. 11 of those years. Yeah, it'll be 11 as of January. 11 years that I've known Maggie. And Maggie's pretty chill, pretty laid back. But like when I got in the house, Maggie's just kind of looking at me like, oh, it's good. You're here. Yeah, we got a screamer in the bathroom. Go check it out. It was kind of one of those type of deals. She looked on very cautiously, wanted to know if everything was all right. Then it was kind of one of those, once she was able to establish, okay, yeah, you're good, Dad. Okay, cool. But I didn't like it. I didn't like it one little bit. I felt so bad, and this is new territory for me, so trying to figure my way of, raising a pup and all that. It definitely has its challenges. I got a crib that's going to be coming, I believe, Thursday. It's actually a crib I've got to build myself and everything. And it's pretty wide. We'll be able to do a lot more as far as having her toys in there and really make her comfortable and everything. But I think the real question is going to be, is she going to be all right? Yeah, going forward, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I might actually look into some type of a cam. What do you guys think? Especially you guys that are pet owners and all that. I'm thinking maybe I should look into some type of a cam. That way I could set it up in whatever room and then maybe use an app. And then whenever I want to check in on her, but she's still young. So I don't know. But I do know one thing. She loves me. I mean, she loves me. Put her down for a couple of seconds and she's already hollering, man. And yes, I do have her in my arms. She is so exhausted from all that crying earlier. She is just, she's knocked out right now. Yo, good AEW for this week, yeah? That actually was a pretty good, the final AEW Dynamite that was on TNT as next week. That is it. New era for AEW as they're going to be moving on to the TBS network. And I see some interesting questions that's out there as far as AEW goes, because you saw the numbers that AEW was able to do for last Saturday's Rampage. And now a question that is floating around among some wrestling fans is, should AEW Rampage maybe move to Saturdays? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But as far as this final Dynamite on TNT, pretty strong card from top to bottom when it's all said and done. I got to tip my hat to AEW. I got to tip my hat off to them. They actually did pretty good. We got the shocking appearance / debut, if you will, of veteran Mercedes Martinez. And anybody that's been checking out the show for a significant period of time, y'all know how much of a big fan I am of Mercedes Martinez. I mean, love her. And I just think it was such a bad break that she got when she was in the WWE. And it really was, when you stop and think about it, especially when you had that period of time there where, oh, wow, I can't believe I almost forgot about that. But for a hot minute, she was a member of Retribution. Y'all remember that? I mean, it was a quick, if you blinked, your ass might have missed it, that she was part of Retribution. And next thing you know, you would have expected that maybe we were going to see her on the regular in NXT. And that did not come to fruition. And it was just kind of one of those, what the hell? What's going on with Mercedes? And for her to ultimately be released by the WWE, I always felt it was just a bad move by WWE, because here was a case right here where you had a great in-ring veteran. You needed that presence, quite honestly. You needed to have somebody like a Mercedes Martinez on your roster doing her part and making sure that, she's helping teach the up-and-coming young girls, the right things and everything, helping them stay on that right course and all that. So I had always thought that a woman like Mercedes Martinez would be a great addition. This is someone that I have been rooting for years upon years, as far as, if anybody I'd like to see in WWE, this woman, and just all the capabilities that I know she has, that I've seen of her full display when you don't have any shackles on her, right? And, it's tough that things didn't quite work out for Mercedes in the WWE, but now we're going to be able to see her on a weekly basis in AEW. I don't know about you guys, but I say bring it. I'm pretty ecstatic. Now look, for those of you that's looking at this, if you're thinking off the break that maybe Mercedes Martinez is going to be a future AEW women's champion, I'm not seeing that. I'm going to let you know that off the break. I'm not seeing that. Could I maybe see her as AEW TBS champion? Yes, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see her getting that secondary title. But make no mistake about it, if you think that Mercedes Martinez is going to be going in there and she's going to be within the ranks of, I hate to go the WWE route, but you guys will definitely understand where I'm going with this. But if you think she is going to be the Becky Lynch or the Ronda Rousey or the Charlotte Flair, the Sasha Banks, but for AEW, I'm telling you guys right now, pump the brakes. I'm just not seeing any of that happen. No, it ain't happening. Look, would it be nice? Yes. Hey, I hope I'm wrong. I love when I'm wrong, because it's one of those, wow, I thought for sure it was going to go this way, but then it went opposite. Who'd have thunk it, right? So I hope I'm wrong, but just the way I'm looking at how things are set up right now with that women's division and AEW and everything, no, I'm looking at Mercedes Martinez as nothing more than pretty much doing her part to really help. I wouldn't be surprised. Two things. But first and foremost, as far as my gut instinct, I think she is just really going to be going into that role of helping out the younger women that's on that AEW roster. That's what I think first and foremost. And look, some of those women can definitely use that help. I mean, look, we've already got Serena Deeb that's down there. She's being very vocal, lending her help, giving her input where she can and everything. But I mean, you combine that with Dustin, right? Because we've heard from a few people on AEW that when it comes to the women and them getting in their training and all that, Dustin has been helping out tremendously. Goldust for you guys. He's been helping out the women tremendously. So factor him in there. Okay, and now you've got access to a Mercedes Martinez. Give it some time, but I definitely would say within about 3 months from now, from this period that we're live right now, or you guys are going to be watching this on demand, just make note, we're talking about this subject right now for Wednesday night of December 29th, 2021. Don't be surprised if within 3 months at the time of this recording that we're going to be seeing more crisper, cleaner, more tighter women's matches. Okay? I mean, when you got all of those great minds that I just mentioned, and it comes to making sure that the women are putting on entertaining shows, just give it about 3 months. Look, you've already seen a little bit as it is over the past year. You've already seen things with the women's division get better. Used to be a lot of sloppiness that was going on in those women's matches. Yeah, I mean, when you look back to really since AEW began, and it's been less and less this calendar year, but definitely notable. Just give it some time. But I mean, look, you definitely got some great matchups that's going to be in store for Mercedes Martinez. I love the fact that they got her off on a good hot start. I mean, to basically put her in a program with Thunder Rosa, basically. I like that. I like that. If there was ever a way to bring somebody in and really build them up as a nasty old heel and all that, yeah, that's a good way to freaking do it. And you just kind of figured that there was going to be some type of interference that was going to go down in that TBS tournament finals there between Thunder Rosa, Jade Cargill. And I told you guys, man, from like day one that this tournament was announced, I said to you guys, yo, I love my girl Thunder Rosa. I love Thunder Rosa. But man, what we got going on here with Jade Cargill, it's like that's basically asking me to choose which child do you love the most. Right? It's like, don't put me in that position, dude. Like, how dare you put me in that position? So, and unfortunately, I was put in that position, and I said straight up, if you guys recall, I said, yo, Jade Cargill all the way. It's like, sorry, Thunder Rosa, I love you, girl, like any other day of the week. Like, I'm fucking there, but like Jade Cargill is just... So I like the fact that you got this nice element that you threw in here of a monkey wrench where Thunder Rosa tonight, so damn close to advancing to that finals there for that TBS title shot, as winner of tonight's match would advance to face Ruby Soho. And Mac's mystery opponent just comes from out of nowhere while smart Mark Sterling distracts the referee, and we get this Max assailant, look like they're part of the road crew or whatever, just cold clock the hell out of Thunder Rosa, smashed her over the head with something, some foreign object, if I'm not mistaken. And next thing you know, Jade Cargill pretty much picks up the dub that way. But you know, look, we got to give mad props where mad props is due, which is, and I see the question about Toni Storm. Look, y'all already saw the title of the episode. If you're checking out the webcast, y'all already know we're going to talk about Toni Storm later on in the show. So I'm not even tripping. I'm going to have this be such a nice, tight show, a very condensed show, that at most will probably go about an hour 15, maybe an hour 30. Because really, there's not that much that's transpired since last we were on the air with you guys. So unless there's something particular you want me to get into, about an hour 15, hour 30 minutes at most of a show we're going to do tonight. So, but yeah, I love how all of that was set up, and I got to give credit to AEW for how this match between Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill was set up, because this really, the way it was designed, it really could have gone either way. And for once, we really saw Jade Cargill have to dig down deep. You know, she couldn't just go into her usual bag of tricks that she's accustomed to. No. You're going up against a solid in-ring veteran in Thunder Rosa. This ain't going to be no freaking easy walk in the park. You actually are going to have to go in there, and you are going to have to freaking, if you want this, you got to freaking earn it. So I love the fact that she had to go in there, Jade Cargill that is, and really put in the work to advance to the finals. And, you know, I love the story that they were telling there, where at one point Thunder Rosa had messed up one of Jade Cargill's legs, and you're going, okay, well, shoot, if we're taking away that leg strength, and you know how strong Jade Cargill is in the legs. I mean, she's strong all over, but a lot of the stuff that she does as far as her offense goes, she relies a lot on power. She does rely a lot on lifting her opponents up and everything. And man, if you're focusing on those legs, you're taking away that upper body strength. So you're going to have, if you're Jade Cargill, you're going to have to improvise on it. So I love that story that they were trying to tell there, where Thunder Rosa was trying to take down those legs, trying to eliminate that power strength. It was a nice setup. It was a good psychology that they had setting up in this match and everything. So definitely gotta give them a lot of props for that. Just trying to think if there was anything else, honestly, and I'll jump out there. For me personally, I felt that of all the matches I've seen, and look, you can look at this two ways. You really can. But I personally felt that of all the matches that we've seen Jade Cargill in since she's arrived in AEW, this match was not only her best match to date, and we know we're going to be seeing more good matches down the pipeline. But to date, as it stands right now, this was one of her best matches to date. And if you really want to get technical as far as, okay, a true, real test. How about a real test to see just exactly where Jade Cargill is and if she can, in fact, carry that load there? Amazing. Jade Cargill did freaking amazing tonight. But look, as I always like to say on this show, you're only as good as your dance partner. And I definitely got to give flowers to my girl, Thunder Rosa, because she really went out there and made freaking Jade Cargill, both of these girls, they made each other look really, really good. But when it counted the most, and this is all about Jade Cargill advancing, Thunder Rosa went above and beyond. So this was really good. Right length, right amount of time and everything. Both of these girls worked their freaking asses off. So loved it. Good stuff right there. So yeah, the girl that attacked Thunder Rosa post-match gets in there, beating her down a little bit more, beating down Thunder Rosa, that is. When she finally takes the mask off, we find out that it's Mercedes Martinez, and Mercedes Martinez, Jade Cargill, they decide they want to go 2-on-1 there. Next thing you know, you got the music of Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho coming out there for the save as she's got a big old lead pipe in her hands as Jade Cargill and freaking Mercedes Martinez, they like thieves in the night. They run off. So nice little instant Acme feud that we got going on there. So lot of stuff to digest there. Number one, what's going on here with Mercedes Martinez? Does this mean that Mercedes Martinez is officially part of the Smart Mark Sterling LLC? Is she part of this, or is this some type of unresolved beef, some unresolved issues that she has with Thunder Rosa, right? You know, I mean, you got a lot that's going on there. One thing is for certain, definitely down the pipeline. I wouldn't be surprised if it were maybe to be announced on this Friday's Rampage as a setup for either next Wednesday's Dynamite on TBS or next week's Rampage, where Ruby Soho teams up with Thunder Rosa to take on Jade Cargill and Mercedes Martinez. But back to the point I had made a couple of minutes ago, at least you've got this design in a way where if you're a huge fan of Mercedes Martinez, you've got her off the break just at a good launching pad. Honestly, you couldn't be any more happier than what you're getting right now with Mercedes. So can't wait to see what's gonna come in the weeks to come there for Mercedes. So good stuff right there. Opening up, you all right, little buddy? Opening up Dynamite tonight. Oh, Jim Ross. Congrats to Jim Ross. We officially saw the return of Jim Ross. Before anything else, we legit were treated to the return of Jim Ross. And as we all know, he had been getting those cancer radiation treatments. He got about, 21, somewhere between like 21 to 25 radiation treatments. It was on his ankle, and he had got his final one, if I'm not mistaken, earlier today. And he pretty much celebrated by coming on down to Daly's place. It wasn't like he was that far away, because he actually, and to the point that he brought up earlier on the show, he loves Florida so much that he actually had bought a home out there and everything. So to see the return of JR, ecstatic, very ecstatic. I'm happy that all of his radiation treatments were a success. I'm very happy to hear that there were no complications whatsoever. That's the power of early detection, y'all. That is the power of early detection. Unfortunately, there are many that are not as fortunate. And, even though you may sometimes have folks that are able to detect it early and they're able to get the treatment, sometimes during the process of those treatments, there can be complications. So it's nice that Jim Ross was able to, do what he needed to do, and he's all right now. Big soft spot for JR. Seriously, I got a big soft spot for JR. I usually mention this once in a blue moon, not to brag or anything like that, because I'm not that type of person. But if you ever had got the vibe of what you see of him on TV is, wow, he seems pretty humble, seems kind of down to earth, seems like a guy you could just chat up with, seems very approachable, seems very friendly. He is. Had the opportunity, me and the wifey, we met him several years ago when he did his one-man show at DC Improv. And he is, oh man, he was so nice. So freaking nice. Really took the time out to personally thank you for coming out to see him and everything. There's like no question, unless it was extremely offensive, then he probably was gonna take issue with it. But you pretty much could have asked him anything, and we were able, everybody that was there for that one-man show, the way that they had it set up, if you did the VIP package, you were able to meet with JR before the show, and he basically posed for a photo, and the staff, the DC Improv staff, they basically would take the photo, and you could get in your nice little chat right there. There was no rushing at all. No rushing at all whatsoever. And then did the show, and then after the show, you come back into another line, and this go round, you would get JR's autograph. And just both times, just nice, very nice. I remember when I saw him after the show, he was like, there you are. He's like, how'd you like the show? Because I was talking to him beforehand and everything. And he's like, there you are. He's like, how'd you like the show? I was like, oh, man, it was really good. He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. It's like, I wasn't really sure what to expect. Like, not that that's a bad thing, but literally I wasn't sure what to expect. And, came away pretty damn good. I had a good time. He's like, I'm glad to hear that. And we talked a little bit more, some non-wrestling related stuff and all that. But yeah, very, very, very nice guy. Now, I will say this, in case a lot of you guys are not even aware, but Don West, for you Impact Wrestling fans, if you go back to the old TNA wrestling days, as you all know, I think it was last year that Don West had to undergo some chemotherapy because there was some cancer that was detected and all. And, he came away from that, everything was a success. Well, it looks like his cancer has returned. He did have it in remission, but it looks like it's back. And Jeff Jarrett was actually the one that had revealed the news. I think it was yesterday or maybe it was Monday. I'm trying to remember, but it's a little fuzzy right now, so you guys got to forgive me. But Jeff Jarrett was the one that had personally revealed the news after he got permission from Don West to share. And some people may look at that and kind of, Don West isn't exactly a social media guy. I mean, he's got a couple of outlets here and there, but he's not really a social media guy. But yeah, now that JR has kicked cancer's ass, I cannot help but stress to you guys, keep Don West in your thoughts, definitely in your prayers. I'm sure he would definitely appreciate it. I don't know if he has somebody that maybe checks out his social media feeds just to see, if people are adding him, what they're saying, things of that nature. But what are you nibbling on? Hi, what are you nibbling on? Nothing? Okay, good. But I'm sure he would definitely appreciate that. All these years since Don West has been removed from TNA, I just always find it so mind-boggling that Don West hasn't done anything with another wrestling promotion. I don't know if you guys have also been kind of scratching your heads on that one, but I always thought that if there was one guy we would always continue to hear from and see, as far as, on some type of a show, wrestling related wise, or okay, if anybody's going to be doing a podcast and they're going to be talking wrestling, maybe some other sports related topics as well. I always thought Don West, he just seemed as though he was on top of, his trends and all that shit. I always thought he was going to be the one guy that was he might be done with TNA, but he's always going to continue to be out there. And of course, he's had some health issues over the years, but still, you just would have expected for him to do some stuff. I mean, you could just close your eyes and you could just insert whatever promotion you want to insert. Me personally, he would have been pretty damn good. Now look, it could still happen, but highly unlikely. I'm just picturing him as one of the color commentators for NWA. And you know what would have been a really good, okay, let's slide him in right here. After Jim Cornette left. A lot of people feel that after Jim Cornette left NWA, pretty much Jim Cornette took his audience with him. Right? That's how a lot of people feel when Jim Cornette left. Because it's like, NWA had got a big bulk of the attention that they got because of Jim Cornette's listeners, the cult of Cornette. And now that Cornette has nothing to do with NWA, well, cult of Cornette is pretty much joining suit. Like, they're following their leader. Right? I don't know, guys. I don't know. But I think that definitely would have been one nice transition. I think my furry daughter agrees with that. Let's see. So, yeah, great to see JR back. Some other stuff that happened on Dynamite. A lot of good tag team action for tonight. Yes, I see you. Hi. A lot of great tag team action for tonight. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage, and the Lucha Brothers taking on FTR, Matt Hardy, Private Party. Went about 15 minutes, give or take. The one thing that's kind of with some of these tag matches that we get from AEW sometimes, and I think even the hardcore AEW fan can admit this, which is sometimes these AEW tag matches, they can have a whole bunch of clusterfuck spots in it. A lot of these tag matches can just be straight up glorified spot. Ooh, clusterfuck, spot, right? And not really be telling a story. But this was one of those tag matches where, you're looking at this and you're going, yo, this is a pretty solid opener for this week's Dynamite. Yo, this is crisp as hell. Yo, this is smooth like butter, to quote JR, like apple butter, right? That's the sweetest butter. You ever tried apple butter? If you haven't, you're missing out. Apple butter is actually pretty damn good. To echo JR there. It really is good. He didn't say it's good. It's really good. I'm telling you, it's good. It's damn good. Try it out sometimes. You'll thank me later. But no, this was actually a pretty damn good match all throughout, opening to end. Very crisp. Very crisp. All these boys clicking extremely well. FTR, Matt Hardy, Private Party picking up the victory here. Post-match is where things got interesting as you picked it up a couple of segments later down the road. And Luchasaurus with Christian were backstage. And they were approached by the Lucha Brothers. And they pretty much told Luchasaurus straight up, hey, yo, you seriously need to think about your future, because y'all lost that tag match because of Christian. And pretty much a challenge was put out there that if they want to do better in their respective careers, Luchasaurus that is, if they truly want to achieve even greater success, then they got to let go of the past being Christian. That way they can go about embracing the future, right? So I like the seeds that are being planted here, where, you know, you don't just do that for the hell of it. First of all, you don't just do something like they did tonight for the hell of it. I truly believe that what they did tonight is pretty much setting up the beginning of the end for Christian with Luchasaurus there. And for what it's worth, look, Christian, I feel, has served his purpose, you know, as far as trying to give that little bit of a rub off there to Luchasaurus and everything. Jungle Boy is really starting to come into his own. Look, you know, what's the little catchphrase that Christian has there? Outwork everyone. Well, we haven't really seen any of that since Christian has been in AEW. That's a nice little catchphrase and all. It is. It's a nice catchphrase. It's a great selling point. I'm sure it sold him a decent amount of t-shirts. Speaking of t-shirts, y'all be careful messing around with pro wrestling tees. I unfortunately, and I'll show the letter the very next time we're on the air, I actually was unfortunately one of the victims that was affected. I'm sure some of you guys have probably heard about it, but for others that haven't, apparently there was a pro wrestling tees data breach. And what's so baffling about this is the data breach actually occurred, I want to say April or March. Wait a minute. March or April of this year. Yet we're just now, those of us that had our data breached, we're just now finding out about this, because supposedly there was some type of an investigation that was going on, I guess by the FBI or something. And it's okay. I hear you. You're not trying to until your investigation is, but we're talking about information being compromised. We're talking about, you know, credit cards, full names, and addresses. Seriously, like, you're not gonna tell us as soon as possible about our information being breached? What the hell? So apparently, I want to say their investigation was wrapped up, I think, like November 1st. I got to go back and read the letter. But basically, people that actually got a letter in the mail from Pro Wrestling Tees, their information was compromised. And I was actually one of those people. And the only thing that, now, I've checked my TransUnion credit report, my Equifax, I'm with Credit Karma. I've checked everywhere, and it doesn't look like, knock on wood, because I'm knocking on it right now, doesn't look like anything weird had happened. I know a lot of you guys remember there was a period where every month for a whole year, actually, we did Pro Wrestling Crate unboxings and reviews. Besides that, there were definitely t-shirts I had ordered off and on for about the past, I would say, year and a half, maybe 2 years. But yeah, I haven't. The last time I bought something from Pro Wrestling Tees, I actually have a very good memory. The last time I bought something from Pro Wrestling Tees, Brian Pillman shirt, when they did the infamous Dark Side of the Ring episode on Brian Pillman. I remember buying the Brian Pillman shirt. And then I think Mick Foley did something. Yeah, Mick Foley did something. It wasn't a shirt related. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Something where I think it was like an autograph photo and you got a Mr. Sacco. I don't know if he, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did that through Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm sure you guys remember exactly what I'm talking about. Those were like the only two things, as far as I know, that I did in 2021. So, yeah, you guys that like those Pro Wrestling Tees, you may just want to use a little bit of caution. What they're saying is going forward, everybody should, if you're going to order from Pro Wrestling Tees, they basically are saying rather than put in your credit card information, actually pay through PayPal. So like y'all know how you got your PayPal set up and you can pretty much have it, have whatever you got to pay for. You can pretty much link it to your bank account or whatever. And, you know, whoever the merchant is, they'll get their money that way. Pro Wrestling Tees is basically saying, do it that way. Hey, look, this is how we do with the show. I could easily just be on here and I could say to you guys, this person beat this person beat that person, this person beat that person, 5 minutes, 27 seconds. That's the end of the show. Subscribe. That's kind of boring, isn't it? So, yeah, just FYI. Because I know some people, let's get on with the wrestling talk already. It's like, we're doing it, but this is how the show works, man. Whatever comes to mind. Just thinking about some more stuff that happened with Dynamite tonight. So we talked about that great tag team opener, the setup there, where it looks like Christian, Luchasaurus, they're going to be. Honestly, I want to see heel Christian. I miss heel Christian. I want to see heel Christian back. Another great little tag team match. For what it was worth, it was rather decent. But Jesus, I got one big bone to pick with this match. Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz taking on David Garcia and 2.0. For what it was worth, this was a nice tag match. The biggest issue that I have with this, though, we did the irritating picture-in-picture break. Most people take this picture-in-picture break, they use it as an opportunity to go use the bathroom, maybe go heat up some food, whatever, and by the time they come back, picture-in-picture is over, right? And they're able to enjoy the show. So this match, which was probably, if you were lucky, maybe this match went about 7, maybe 8 minutes. It felt as though the first 4 minutes of the match you got, and then they went into a commercial break. But picture in picture. So by the time you come back from picture in picture, the match continued for maybe an additional 90 seconds. And it just freaking ends on a goddamn roll up as the final moments of the matchup. Parker got tagged in, gets sent out. There's a tag to Santana. Santana grabs on Lee. In comes Ortiz, trips him up, does a moonsault off the back, but Lee gets the knees up, roll up, 1, 2, 3. And it was pretty much over just like that. And you're going, what the flying fuck? That, for me, was just mad buzzkill. Mad buzzkill on so many levels. So, post-match 2.0, they're attacking Santana as Garcia grabs a ring bell. Kingston, he's struggling to get to his feet and everything. Next thing you know, Chris Jericho is out there to make the save. And he's swinging and everything. Everybody clears out the freaking ring. Eddie Kingston, once he's able to come to, he realizes that Jericho had came out there. He demands that Jericho's music gets cut off, and him and Jericho are having some serious words as they're just jawing off back and forth. Kingston tells Jericho straight up, I did not ask for your help. I did not want your help. I did not need your help. Jericho, understanding that, but yeah, these two, the way it was throwing down here, it looked like these guys were about to brawl, but Santana did his very best to step in there in between the guys and separate them and everything. So nice continuation of that friction that's going on there between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. Now we kind of got one step closer to maybe some of the issues that Eddie Kingston has with Jericho, because you got to go back and you got to replay it. Kingston says to Jericho straight up, you can actually read his lips and you can kind of hear him saying it, but he says to Jericho, I don't trust you. So it would appear that the main issue Kingston is having with Jericho right now is a trust thing. So, and I like that. I like that. Honestly, if you are looking at it from Eddie Kingston's character standpoint of, okay, I saw what Jericho was doing with the Inner Circle and all the bullshit that they were doing. Yeah, of course there is that room. There can be room for caution. And you're going, I'm not really sure if I even want to be associated with you, all things considered. I get that. I truly get that. So I love what's going on here between Jericho and Kingston, because it's just one of those dynamics where, okay, well, if Kingston really does not trust Jericho, then the question becomes, is there anything that Jericho can do to try to earn the trust of Kingston? What does Jericho have to do to get in good graces with Eddie Kingston? And there's probably nothing that Jericho can do. So, we could be watching something that could seriously implode here. Or actually, no, explode. I'm going to say explode, right? Because that's the point that we're getting to right now. Because it seems that Kingston wants to take care of this business with 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. He's got that kinship. He's got that brotherhood with Santana and Ortiz. Obviously, he's got that brotherhood with John Moxley. Whenever Moxley gets ready to come back and everything. But it feels truly as though outside of that, there's really not anybody else, at least in the AEW universe, that he trusts. So does Jericho maybe go on ahead, back off? It is what it is. Or, right. So I like what's going on here, because this is a delicate situation that could end up in a way where both of these guys, there could be a rivalry within a rivalry, if that makes sense to you guys, because the rivalry right now is Kingston and his beef with 2.0 Daniel Garcia, and yet every single time Jericho gets involved, Jericho's got some issues with those guys, but it seems that when he's getting involved in Eddie Kingston's business, that's where things are kind of colliding there. Another interesting development, MJF, Wardlow and all them. Nice little skit, pretty much MJF talking backstage. He's fiending to add more stuff to his resume. So going into 2022, he's looking to become a you can still be the TNT champion. Yeah, he's looking to become not only the TNT champion, but the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And Wardlow, some stuff was said there about Wardlow, because apparently Wardlow is going to be entering some competition or whatever. And matter of fact, if you bear with me a second here, I can actually tell you what's getting ready to come up here. Okay, yeah, I got it. I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, Wardlow, something about if Wardlow wins his upcoming match and earns a shot for the title, if he wins it, then he needs to relinquish it to MJF. And Wardlow's looking on like, dude, what the fuck? What are you hitting me up with this bullshit for? What exactly are you talking about? You must be bugging out of your mind. And I love how we've got the nice continuation there of Wardlow, who's been kind of giving MJF this, dude, you're getting on my nerves. I am seriously freaking tired of you. You just have no idea, dude. You are driving me fucking crazy. I just want to pound your face into the cement already. But Wardlow looked as though he was about to pounce on MJF tonight. But MJF is real quick to say, it's in your contract. They have Mark Sterling come out. You think you're being slick too, by the way. I see you. You think you're being slick. I see you easing out little by little. You trying to ease out little by little. You ain't slick. You ain't slick. Yeah. And, yeah, so basically when Wardlow signed his contract to basically work with MJF, or actually work for MJF, any royalties, his name, likeliness, match, I mean, they got him dead to rights, which had me bring up a very interesting question online, which was, okay, so now I'm paraphrasing what I put online, but basically Wardlow's in this position. So if he tries to break the contract, is it set up in such a way where MJF could automatically go, dude, I will fucking not only sue you, but I will own everything. Rightfully so, because you're breaking your contract. I'll even own the frickin' draws and any jewelry that you got on your dick and balls. I could just picture MJF say something along those lines. That would be pretty badass, the way he would deliver it too. So I can't help but wonder if there is a way Wardlow can get out of this contract without MJF suing his ass, what steps could he take? And the only thing that makes the most sense to me is, well, what if Wardlow just starts doing a really bad job? What if he does such a piss poor job that MJF decides, dude, you suck major balls. You're fired. Like, I don't care what happens to you. You know, poof, peak, gone. I could see some stuff like that happen. The question is, and maybe in time we'll find that out, but are they going to have Wardlow kind of be Grey Hawk smart in that standpoint? A lot of people are under the impression, you know, the comics, Green Hawk, he's just a stupid brute, right? Grey Hawk, I'm not really sure who this Hawk is, but we know the Green Hawk is stupid as fuck. This Hawk should be no different. Grey Hawk is smart as shit, right? Grey Hawk loves his money. I wonder if Wardlow is Grey Hawk. We'll have to wait and see, but food for thought. Think about that. Food for thought. Other than that, let's see, what else? Wardlow squash match against Colin Delaney. I mean, that was about, that wasn't even 90 seconds, man. Just whoop that guy's ass. For me, highlight of the night was definitely seeing Dan Lambert and Brandy go back and forth. Laughed my ass off. I had a hearty good time just listening to these two go at it back and forth. Dan Lambert with Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page. He talks about, Dan Lambert, that is, how there's nothing cool about Cody. There's nothing cool about Arn Anderson. There's nothing cool about that whole Nightmare family. He's seen Arn with Cody, and it pretty much makes him really sad. He's a guy trying to make a couple of dollars, sucking up to a guy that basically is sucking up to the other guy who is actually the guy. Buries Arn Anderson, talks about how Arn used to be a horseman, now he's just a whore. And perfect segue too to Brandy. Perfect segue, not my words, folks. Frickin' Dan Lambert frickin' went there. And question was brought up if Brandy is even her real name, because if so, then per Dan Lambert, it's the first Brandy that he knows of that isn't a stripper. So that was just, oh man, who let the dogs out on this one? Seriously, Lambert goes right back, taking jabs at Cody. Talks about his he actually says that Cody tattooed a transformer on his neck. I mean, Lambert was just going. He's on fire. He's on fire. Talked about how Cody skipped over the line of more deserving talent backstage. AEW fans may be idiots, but even an idiot doesn't like the taste of a shit sandwich being shoved down their throat. Brandy comes out Oh yeah, they even took shots at Brandy trying to be a wrestler and everything, right? That was funny too, the way they delivered that line. Brandy comes out. You're looking at this, you're going, okay, so how's Brandy gonna come back here? So Brandy, Brandy, yo, I gotta give Brandy her flowers tonight because she fucking delivered. She comes out there and she wants to know when's the last time he was beat up by a woman and didn't have to pay for it, because she'll do him a solid and do it for free. Lambert comes right back, calls her Bambi, says he's got a black belt in BJJ, and that there's not a single soul watching that doesn't want to reach through or some shit like that. Brandy comes right back. Oh, you're a black belt. Well, I'm a black bitch. Let's go. Fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. I loved it. I fucking loved it. Dustin Rhodes comes out there to stop it, but he gets a cheap shot in there. Or he gets hit, rather. Yeah, because a cheap shot is done to him by Ethan Page. Then they pretty much roll out. So that pretty much was the end of that. It's a great exchange. That was a great exchange. I even like the line there where Brandy had called Dan Lambert basically a poor man's great value version of Paul Heyman. Yeah, she actually dropped the name Paul Heyman. So that was actually pretty good. Some pretty good stuff right there. I gotta say, I was just looking at Brandy tonight. I'm hearing them going, all right, Brandy. All right, I see you. You coming along. There just may be some hope for you yet. I've never been. I know there's some people that are extremely critical of Brandy, and I'm one of the few podcasters that was not only honest in my fair critique of Brandy, but also said early on, look, if she's really serious about this, you got to give her time. She's among the right type of people. So as far as her training goes and all that, if she bout it, then nothing to it but to put in the work, and everything will pay itself off in due time. I gotta say, as long as I have been watching the Brandy character on television, this was one of her most strongest promos to date. So she has come a long way. Now I'm curious how everything translates to her in-ring work. So again, I'm the same guy where everybody was being dismissive about Britt Baker and wanting to see Britt Baker off of their TVs. I said, no. I was like, there's some potential right here. We just got to give her time. She's going to be able to piece it all together. She's got the right people in play that can help her. At the top of that list, her boo and Adam Cole. Let's see what happens. And look, she's still scratching at the surface. I'm not saying she is bona fide good, right? 100%. Like, there's still a little bit of room there for improvement. But the way she's been able to quickly adapt, she's off to a very good start so far. I mean, just imagine where Britt Baker could be 3 years from now. She hasn't even hit her peak yet. So with regards to Brandy, we just got to be a little bit more patient. Not everybody's going to be able to, right? Just picture your favorite video game. Remember how you struggled early on and maybe you had a friend at school or whatever. Oh, man, you struggling at that stage? Oh, man, I was able to beat that, right? Kind of one of those type of deals. Keep going here. We already talked about Jade Cargill taking on Thunder Rosa, so we can dodge that. Main event match of the night, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish taking on Best Friends. A little bit that I saw was good. It was actually good. Fish with the kick to the back of the head, KOR suplex, goes for the cover, 3 counts. So Red Dragon, the reunited Red Dragon, picking up the victory there with Adam Cole. But most telling story was seeing Adam Cole walking out of the arena with the Bucks as Red Dragon is looking on. So I like this continuation of what's going on with our boy Adam Cole here. Just which side is he on exactly? Is he with the Elite, or is he with the Undisputed Era, right? And I just love how we're not even mentioning that name. I love how the past couple of weeks now, we just keep referring to the UE as one of the most polarizing stables. I like how we're dancing around that and everything. I also got to tip my hat off to AEW for how they tackled the friction that's been going on between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole when you go back to what was going on with them in WWE. I love the fact that Tony Khan and them, they could have easily just said, okay, we are just going to go in a completely different direction here. But they literally pulled a, oh man, I don't want to spoil it, but they pulled a Hawkeye. If you saw the series Hawkeye on Disney Plus, then you know exactly what I mean by that when I say they pulled a Hawkeye. And the fact that they went on ahead and acknowledged, without even mentioning those 3 letters, from Stamford, Connecticut. I just love that. I just love the subtle touch that they had put with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole in their backstage segment. Pretty much a nice prelude going into this main event match. I like that. I like what they had did right there. Good shit. Good shit right there. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this whole Fish and Bobby, Red Dragon. I'm loving them on one side and you got the Bucks on the other. And Cole is pretty much right there in the middle. I love it. I love it. All that nice, good drama that we got going on. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, relatively good Dynamite. Good Dynamite for this week. Nice, good, strong final Dynamite for 2021. Final Dynamite on TNT. Make sure y'all got your DVRs set up and everything. Next week, they're going to be going to TBS. Should be good. Should be good. And after the numbers that they did for last week's Dynamite, can't wait to see what they're going to start doing on TBS. What was that? A million plus viewers that they did for last week's Dynamite. So congrats to AEW for that. This being their final Dynamite on TNT. Man. I'm going to say 900. I'm going to say 956,000. We'll see what happens. 956,000. That's how I'm looking at it. If you guys been enjoying yourself so far, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, really help put more eyeballs on the product. Feel free to subscribe as well, so you don't miss out on the great content that comes your way. So nice, good AEW stuff right there. Looking forward to Rampage. Rampage should be pretty good. That's going to be a New Year's Eve edition of Rampage. And yes, I will be covering Rampage Fallout, live ongoing Fallout, for this Friday's Rampage via 401mania.com. So make sure you guys check that out. If you're going to be out and about, maybe you'll be tied up with work or what have you. Rampage's numbers have finally came in too. Remember, Rampage was a Christmas edition, so as a result of that, the numbers were delayed by a couple of days. But Rampage had posted their highest rating since September. This was their first highest rating since September. Their viewership was also up as well. So congrats to AEW for what they did there. You all right, little buddy? Hi. You okay? What's wrong? You getting a little hot? You getting a little hot? You getting a little hot? Yeah? Okay. Give me a second, guys. She's getting a little warm in here. There you go. Is that better? That better? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That should have you be nice and cool. You should be nice and cool now. Rampage did pretty good though. Rampage did about 571,000 for their Christmas episode. So, and in regards to that 18 to 49 demo, they did a 0.26 rating with about 335,000 viewers. So Damn good. Damn good. Congrats to AEW for that. By the way, you okay? Big yawn. Oh, you are. You just, She's talking today. She's been talking nonstop. You okay? Do I need to have mommy come get you? You okay? Okay? I don't know if she's thirsty, but then if she is thirsty, all she knows how to do is, nope, that's daddy's cord. That's daddy's cord. Give me daddy. Thank you. Thank you. Look, you can stay right here. But she doesn't really like to drink. Doesn't really like to drink. Where were we? Yeah, AEW Dark was Tuesday. Let me give you guys some quick results here before we get ready to move on here. I know we had talked about Dark Elevation from Monday's show, but AEW Dark, hang on. I'm just looking at my show notes here for AEW Dark. I could have sworn I wrote down AEW Dark results for you guys. Hang on. Let me check one other place. Yes, I did take notes. See, there was a dark match apparently. Red Velvet defeated Jordan Blue. Actually, we had like 3 dark matches. Your second dark match was Julia Hart picking up a victory over Tina K or Xena K. Third dark match, Varsity Blondes defeated the Factory's Nick Camarado and QT Marshall. Meanwhile, for the actual AEW Dark, Anna Jay defeating Rika Tika. The Blade picked up a win over Toa Liona. Wardlow beat Casanova. Diamante got a dub over Shauna Reed. Tony Nese defeated Anthony Green. The Bunny defeated Kaylin King. The Acclaimed picked up a win over Bear Country. Yeah. Sky Blue defeated Ashley D'Amboise. Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta defeated the Wingmans, Cesar Bonini and Peter Avalon. Meanwhile, Joey Janela defeated Sonny Kiss in a no disqualification match for your main event. I actually saw all the highlights. I mainly saw a bunch of highlights from that Janela Sonny Kiss no DQ. And actually, I really had enjoyed that for what it was worth. So that was AEW Dark for this week. We'll get into NXT key points in just a hot minute. I definitely want to take this time out. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Oh, that's what you're trying to do. Yeah, you're not going to be able to take that off, but you can try. Here, I'll help you out. She's trying to play with my collar zipper here, so give me a second. There you go. Have fun. Knock yourself out. Before we go any further into the show, I definitely want to give my thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the John Madden family as we lost another one. We lost another good one this calendar year. Fucked up too, because 2021, it's been a pretty rough year when you look at the amount of people that have passed in the pro wrestling industry. But if you were to extend it further and just outside of wrestling, we also a lot of good people. Colin Powell, a lot of good people. Harry Reid, didn't Harry Reid die yesterday? I think it was minutes before they made the announcement about John Madden, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a lot of people that we had lost, but John Madden, look, depending on how old you are, there could be a huge generational gap. If you grew up playing the Madden video games, then all you know is Madden, the video game. You probably don't really know anything about the man that loaned his name to this series, to this football series, right? So you got one generation of fans, all they know is the video game. You got another generation of fans that were fortunate enough for 30 years to hear John Madden call football action as a color commentator. And then before any of that, really where everything had truly began for John Madden, coach for the Oakland Raiders, still has one of the most impressive fucking coach win-loss records in NFL history, man. Seriously, I haven't, I got to really take a step back and really think about, okay, has anybody come pretty close to what John Madden was able to do as a coach? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Depending on the generation, what's really sad is John Madden was only a coach for about 10 years. That's the sad part. And everybody pretty much knows him either for the video games or as a color commentator. And what's really funny on top of that, like if that isn't funny enough, if you were to ever talk to John Madden, you're like, hey, what do you want people to best remember you by or know you from or what have you, like video game or color commentating, John Madden will be the first to tell you, coach, because that's where everything had really began for the man. But yeah, he passed away yesterday. They made the announcement. He passed away yesterday. The NFL did. The NFL had put out an official statement and everything. And I just couldn't help but go, wow. And they made sure that they stressed that when he passed away, it was unexpected. This wasn't a case where he had been suffering some type of, pneumonia or, he's been quietly battling, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing like that whatsoever. Right down to the point. There was a really good, it was a short little documentary over the weekend, but there was a Madden documentary that had aired. And it was basically John Madden reacting to all these legends, that were talking about him and how influential he was on the game and everything, on the sport. And it was really good. Hopefully it's on YouTube or it's on Daily Motion. Hopefully you guys can go and check it out that way. But 10 years he was a coach for the Oakland Raiders. And his winning record for that, if I remember correctly, in those 10 years, he had only lost 32 times. I mean, so just stop and think about that. He only lost 32 times, 7 ties, and he had like 102 or 103 wins. I mean, that is freaking impressive. So his winning percentage was like 76.3, if not a little higher, basically. Okay. Playoffs, don't even get me started on talking about the playoffs, because when he was with the Oakland Raiders as the head coach, I think it was 8 seasons. I think it was 8 seasons that the Oakland Raiders pretty much had clinched a playoff berth. Man, and such a huge generational gap, because when he was the head coach for the Oakland Raiders, he was the head coach of them late 60s going into 1978. So depending on what year you were born, man, you may have missed one hell of a ride, because you look at a lot of those players that John Madden had access to when he was a head coach. A lot of those guys on that team went on to become Hall of Famers, do pretty big, cool things outside of the NFL. And, the one cool thing about John Madden is the way he coached those Oakland Raiders. That was a team that was feared. And that team was feared. Like, at the end of the day, it was all nothing but smoke and mirrors. All smoke and mirrors. But John Madden, at the core of it all, the way he had that fucking team set up. And you will never hear anybody that had an opportunity to play for John Madden on that Oakland Raiders team. You won't find anybody saying anything bad about John Madden. Just to show you the type of guy that John Madden was, I can't remember the game right now. I'm a little bit of a football historian, a little bit of a football nut, but there was one game I remember hearing about. And I can't think of the team right now, but I remember it was a player for the opposing team. And they had got the player, he got hit real bad. I mean, real fucking bad. And it was so bad that they basically had to take this player out on a stretcher off the field and everything. John Madden was the type of person, and he actually did do this. You can go and you can research it yourself. John Madden had went to the hotel for this rival opponent because he felt so bad. He was that concerned about what was going on with that young man. He was the only guy. There were no other players, not even players from the other team. Nobody went to go see how this guy was doing. So when John Madden went there to go see what was going on, this much I do remember, the player, and I wish I could remember the player's name right now. This player, sadly, he would become a quadriplegic. So when John Madden had went to the hospital and he saw that nobody was there, and when he found out, okay, yeah, this is what's going to be happening with this young man in the immediate future, Madden was just shook to his core. He actually had spent the night at the hospital with that player. Not on his team. This was for the opposing team. He spent the night at the hospital with that player. And then he got on the phone the very next day, and he called the team, and he said, "Look, this young man, he really, really needs somebody here. This is what's going on with him. Somebody needs to come back." Because I think the other team, they had already left. The team that the guy had played for, I think they were already in the air or already made their travel arrangements, and they were going to the next city or whatever. So eventually somebody had came back. Somebody representing, they came back. And Madden stayed with that player until somebody had came, and he had continued to check up on that player periodically. He continued to check up on them periodically. That tells you the type of character that John Madden is, right? And his rules were simple, man. He didn't have that many rules, but you pretty much went in there, and it was, you play hard, right? Now that was his first request. You play hard. Put it all out there. Put it all on the line. And the second thing was, be on time. Be on time. Man had a fear for flights. Something traumatic had happened to him early in his young adulthood, and he vowed never to freaking fly again. And man, true to his word, every time he was getting ready to travel out, he was always on his tour bus. Always on his tour bus. And you knew shit was popping. You knew you were in for a pretty damn magical night, as far as, oh man, this game is going to be good. I mean, your game went to a whole new other level when you saw that Madden bus, because you knew, there's the Madden bus, and freaking Pat Summerall wasn't that far away. You knew you were going to be getting a really good, entertaining game, which brings me to this point. And it kind of is a little bit similar to what I had said on social media yesterday in regards to his passing. The Tony Romos, the Drew Breeses, the Shannon Sharps, the Rob Gronkowskis, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, mad props to them, mad respect to them all. But those guys, they wouldn't be in the position that they're in right now if it wasn't for John Madden, because John Madden was the one that actually had laid out the table for those guys. Unless you're a hardcore football fan, you're gonna know about that whole cover three, flank right. You're gonna know all of that freaking terminology. John Madden was one of the first, if not the first, to just go in there as a color commentator. Okay, you know what? Let's really simplify this for the people watching at home, because they're not gonna know all this terminology bullshit. Yeah, and on top of that, not only was he the guy that really helped you understand what you were watching, but he did it in such a fun, energetic, charismatic way. I mean, you could almost say he was the Dusty Rhodes of NFL commentating, if you will. He was of the people, basically, right? So before everybody started doing the whole grab a turkey leg, now you see it's a tradition now. No matter what network you watch now you see a whole bunch of motherfuckers that are doing their own little grab a turkey leg, grab this, grab that. John Madden was the first. He was the fucking first. I got a question about what would be my top 5 John Madden moments. No random order, honestly. 2002's Turducken. That's one of my all-time favorite moments, Turducken. Look that one up if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Just type in YouTube or Daily Motion Joint, John Madden, Turducken, and you'll thank me later. Another moment of mine would actually be the final telecast. The final telecast. Oh man, hang on a second. Get off my cord. Would be the final telecast between John Madden and Pat Summerall for Fox. I loved that fucking combination. I have seen many color commentators off and on over the years, and my absolute personal favorite was Pat Summerall, John Madden. And that team for Fox Sports, they went from 94 until 2001. And for me, I was quite sad. When that team was going to be no more, because Pat Summerall, he decided, okay, you know what, I'm pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to retire. But John Madden felt as though he had a few more years left in him and everything. And I just remember kind of really feeling like, even though I only watched that combination for a handful of years, and I was so young, I was a teenager going into my young 20s back then, but I knew I was looking at something very special here that could not be duplicated. It could be imitated, but there was only... You ain't going anywhere, honey, so you can forget about it. But that was... Chloe's trying to get away from me right now, but it ain't happening. But it wasn't going to be imitated. You could try it, right? You could try to imitate it, but nah. Nothing tops the real thing. And then also with NBC Sports, I mean, John Madden didn't last that long with NBC Sports. I mean, he went in there and he served his role perfectly. He went into that pretty much, okay, NBC's now got NFL, okay, and they want to be taken as as serious as Fox and the other guys, okay, all right. Let me do my part. Not for nothing, they paying me some decent money, but let me go into this. I'm gonna help get this off the ground, kicking and all that. I love the team of Al Michaels and John Madden. I thought that was a pretty damn good team for their original Sunday night football. Definitely the final time. John Madden had called a game. I remember stuff like that. On a personal side note, yeah, I really wouldn't call it a John Madden moment. It's just something that actually stands out in my mind when I think about John Madden. But I think about the kind words that he had said about Pat Summerall at Pat Summerall's funeral. And I mean, man, he literally, give me a second, guys. I got to call wifey because little Chloe here is usually not this animated. So I think she might want to use the bathroom. And I'm not in the mood to get up right now. So hang on a second. Let's see if we can get wifey on the phone here. And if we can get wifey on the phone. Oh, man, her phone must be dead. Okay. Do you want to like potty? What do you need to do? What do you need to do? You're just chilling. Okay. All right. So we'll figure this out. I think she's in curious mode right now. But nah, he wore his heart out on his sleeve, man, when he was speaking at Pat Summerall's funeral. And man, that's probably like the first time, only time, that I've ever seen that big old bear of a man in Madden be in tears and came off upset, right? Yeah, those just really stand out in my mind. Of course, the beer commercials were funny as well, right? Or sure, here's what you got here, boom, right? Well, any of that good stuff. So I don't really have key particular moments because honestly, every single time I was able to see and hear Madden on my TV for the period that I was able to see him do his thing as color commentating. And then luckily with a little thing called YouTube and Daily Motion and then the NFL Network, able to go back and check out vintage matchups and things of that nature. Also having family that's pretty big into football, helping me connect the dots on what was going on with John Madden. Because when John Madden was a coach, I missed him. By the time he was done, I missed him by about 2 years. By the time I was born, I missed John Madden by about 2 years. So rest in peace, John Madden. Seriously, made a huge impact on all of those industries that I had mentioned. Very beloved. It's really sad that a lot of people only think about the video games or the color commentating, because he was more than that. Just something to kind of marinate on. But definitely my thoughts and prayers go out to that whole respected family. Let's get back to the talk of some wrestling here. So I know some of you guys are like, Toni Storm. And I love the whole, which promotion is Toni Storm going to go to question. I mean, we get the same question with pretty much every single person that gets released by WWE, do we not? I'm not going to go into that direction. So look, if the reports are true, and shout out to Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, who pretty much was the one that had broke the news. Toni Storm apparently asked for her WWE release. And looks like by all accounts, it was granted. Look, your guess is as good as mine. why she wanted her release from WWE, all we can do is speculate. And I hate speculating. Now, if you were to ask me just straight up as a wrestling fan, I will tell you guys straight up that, and I got to be consistent here. You're not going to find me, oh man, it sucks that they let go of Toni Storm. Oh, what a travesty there. Oh, that's just wrong. What happened with Toni Storm? You're not going to find me say that. I got to be consistent here. I'm probably the one guy in podcasting land that was always consistent in saying, hey guys, for the love of me, I don't get it. What are you guys seeing with Toni Storm? Because as far as her in-ring work goes, I mean, it's okay. It's not anything that is, oh my God, can't miss. I gotta watch her. And I said to you guys constantly these past couple of years, I said, besides having a cute face, wide hips, nice thighs, nice butt, seriously, what's all the hype? What's all the fuss about with Toni Storm? I never saw anybody truly come at me with a definitive answer. Nobody ever came at me and said, well, Lee, this is why I like Toni Storm. I like her for these reasons, and maybe through them giving a actual response, maybe something opens up in my head and I go, okay, I never saw that. I never considered that. Okay. Usually when I would bring that question up, the unanimous thing I would always hear, nothing, just nice body. Much vulgar than that, but you guys get the point. Now, I hear that when she was in the NXT UK, sorry, but NXT UK, that's I don't watch it. I don't watch it. Some of the guys from UK I know about, I fuck with them, but that's not something I'm going out of my way every single week to check out. But for all intents and purposes, I heard that she was doing pretty good in the UK. NXT UK, that is. When it came to NXT USA, I mean, look, she was there for a hot cup of coffee. They didn't really have her do anything as quickly as she arrived on NXT USA. Next thing you know, she gets called up to the main roster. All those months that went by, those vignettes, we thought the stuff with Veer Mahan was something. That's a whole new level. That's a whole different beast right there with Veer Mahan. But with Toni Storm, like, oh, she's coming. She's coming soon. Great. She's coming soon. Awesome. And nothing ever materialized. Even when we did the whole draft, we're going, okay, so surely we're going to see her after. Like, no. So finally, after all these months, we got Toni Storm. She's on the, she finally appears on SmackDown. And what does she have to show for? What does she have to show for? 2 pies to the face. A championship match against Charlotte Flair, of which she was unsuccessful. And now she's pretty much done. Look, your guess is as good as mine. What's going on there with Toni Storm? But if the reports are true that she had asked for her WWE release and ultimately it was granted, then it is what it is, right? It is what it is. But all we can do is, one, try to truly be objective and looking at this. I try to, in times like these, pay attention to the productivity, and the productivity wasn't banging. And that's no fault to her. That's no fault to her whatsoever. Am I surprised that she's been released? I really am surprised, because I really felt as though this was somebody that WWE was truly heavily invested in, right down to the point, even after that stuff had went down when her nudes got leaked. And she just went on a frenzy, deactivated her social media accounts and all that. You just couldn't help but go, well, man, if there was ever a time, how'd you get out? How'd you get out of that? If there was ever a time where you're going, oh, you know what? Yeah, those nudes. Yeah. No. WWE doubled down. Remember that? They doubled down. And ultimately it culminated in her becoming the NXT UK Women's Champion. Remember that? Remember all that? So I find what's going on here to be very interesting. You know, the feud that she had with Charlotte, not for nothing, it was a rather small feud. It really was. I thought it was a very poorly structured feud. I mean, my God, you get hit with one pie to the face. If there was ever an opportunity where, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, I'm going to fuck you up. What the hell did you do that for? She just continued to stand there like some putz as Charlotte hits her with another pie, and she just continued to stand there like a doofus. I just couldn't help but say to myself, okay, I know this isn't her choosing. She's following the script here, but Jesus Christ, can we add a little color to this? Can we kind of have her? That was just really bad. That was just really, really bad. And look, something that we've talked about off and on in 2021, when you know your own worth, when you know your own value, when you have self-love and you have self-value, nobody is going to, and nor should you expect for somebody to give you what's due, what you feel is in your due, what you feel you're owed. Sometimes you just got to go, okay, you know what? I'm not really liking what's going on over here in these waters. I think I need to go on ahead and test out some new waters, and I need to go chase mine. I need to go get mine because I don't really feel like I'm getting it right here. So it takes serious balls for somebody to go, okay, you know what? I'm making some decent money over here. I like what I'm doing. Yeah, some of these storylines that they got me involved in, is it kind of shitty right now? Yeah, but yo, I'm on TV. That's all that counts. I'm making some good money. Hell, the times that they're not using me, I'm still getting paid. Yo, life is great. I can't really complain. And then you got some people that just go, you know what? There's more to life than this. There's more to life than this. Yeah, man, I'm done. I'm done. This ain't for me. This ain't for me. You know, I can see why it might be a big deal for younger fans, but for older folks that's in their 20s and up, you know, like 25 and up, I mean, you can honestly, you definitely feel where I'm coming from. And hell, I'm sure that at some point you've applied some of these things that I'm talking about to your own life at some point and been like, nah, you know what? Let me go ahead. Let me go get what's mine. Let me go get what I know is in my due. Because it sure as hell ain't this over here. So I can't wait to hear from her own mouth when the time comes and all that, you know, what exactly were the circumstances surrounding her release. You know, what did it really come down to? You hear a lot of people all the time talk about creative, but then you hear other people, oh no, you know, don't want to blame creative. Please, folks, don't blame creative. You know, creative is fine. And you know, I don't believe Toni Storm came down to any type of pressure whatsoever from what she was seeing on social media. I don't believe that whatsoever. I don't believe that whatsoever. Like I said, we would be here speculating as far as the reasons why. Now, I approached it from the standpoint of the fan in me. So everything that you just heard right now, right, I'm kind of looking in one direction. But then there's another direction that I could be looking at that many other people should strongly consider as an option as well, which is maybe there's something going on in her personal life. And as a result of whatever it is that's going on in her personal life, maybe she has to take a step back for a little bit and take care of that personal matter. We don't know. We don't know right now. And, when you're in the dark like this, the best thing that you can do, much like with the whole Jeff Hardy situation, anybody that really means well, you truly are a Toni Storm fan, hit her up on her social media joints. Hey, not sure what's going on. Wishing for nothing but great success for you in 2022. Here's to you and yours. Stay positive. That's the best thing that you can do for her right now. But if she really did ask for her release from her contract, and ultimately WWE did decide to go ahead and let her go, I mean, how many times have we not been in a position where we're working at one place and then we kind of realize after a couple of weeks or maybe after a month or two, you know what? This job isn't all it's cracked out to be. Think it's about time go in a different direction. How many of us have not pulled our boss to the side and, this just ain't for me. I'm sorry, it's not you. It's just, I'm going in another direction here. Look, I'll finish out my shift for the rest of the week, but I'm pretty much done after that. Right? I'll never forget. I'll tell you guys this story. It's related to Toni Storm, more on a life scale. And I think younger listeners will really appreciate this. I'll never forget about 4, maybe 5 years ago. Actually now going on, I think 4 going on 5 years now. I'll never forget there was one holiday season where I had decided it would be a really good idea if I picked up some extra money for the holidays. So I was talking with the missus, and she actually knew somebody that worked at a Hallmark store. So I filled out the application, all that good stuff. Next thing you know, I pretty much got the job. So I was juggling them and I was juggling my market research job. And it was a nice little balancing act because when I would go in to Hallmark, I basically was going in on the weekends. And there was one day during the regular work week I was going. I can't remember what day. That's not the point. Here's the point. I remember after about 2.5, maybe 3 months, I got so fed up to here with working up there. Anybody that's ever worked at a Hallmark, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They want you whoring yourself out there, trying to get a sale. They want you telling people about, 2 for $10, 3, buy 3, get 2, 5% off, all this other shit. And it's just, I'm not that type of person. I just go, hey, how you doing? You finding everything you need? You doing all right? All right, I'm over here if you need anything. All right, cool. That's it. They want you to just, like, as soon as a person steps foot in the frickin' store, they just want you to be on them like a fly on shit. I couldn't stand stuff like that. I couldn't stand it. The other thing that I didn't like, I had this one particular supervisor that I would work predominantly with. So the woman that hired me, she was cool. Me and her, we had a lot in common about same type of music, things of that nature. She was pretty cool. Didn't get to work with her a lot, but she was pretty cool. The other person, oh, you ever are around somebody where they make you feel as though you're second guessing what you're doing, and you know what you're supposed to do, but when they're around you, you start second guessing. I don't know if that's like an intimidate. I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's what was going on with this other person that was my supervisor. And I just decided, okay, you know what? I'm done with this. And the way that she would talk to me at times, she would talk to me like I was slow. And I told her straight up, I told her flat out, I said, look, all due respect, you might have been doing this for a very long time and you're very good at it, but I've never worked for you guys before. All I know is how to operate a register. I was like, so all this other stuff, like, you've got to give me time. And I just remember, you know, she honestly, guys, she came off like a bitch. And I'll never forget. I sat down, I wrote up a letter, my resignation letter. And in my resignation letter, I pretty much had said to the person that hired me, I said, look, I said, this job, it's not for me. I respect what you guys do and everything, but where I am in my life right now and where I'm trying to be, this ain't it. I don't think I'm going to be able to meet those goals working for you guys. So I will gladly finish up this pay cycle. I'll work my shifts. And if you are able to hire somebody in the process, I'll gladly train them. I'll do my part, be a team player. You know what happened? The same person I had said, the first boss that I like, didn't call me to tell me that my services were, you know, no longer needed or whatever. Basically, we had this snowstorm. That store, everybody else, they got shut down. And I said to wifey, I said, look, I said, do me a favor, go pick up my paycheck. And while you're up there, find out what my schedule is for the very next week. So she goes up there. And homegirl had said, oh, Lee had quit. And she's like, Lee didn't quit. He turned in a 2-week notice letter. I know because I was right there when he typed it up and he read it to me. It's like he did not just quit. It's like, what are you talking about? Oh, well, we weren't going to need him anymore anyway. You see how two-faced it is? You see how two-faced it can be sometimes? That's how it is sometimes. You younger folks will learn that as you go along in life. You younger folks are going to learn that the hard way. Trust me. So that could have been the case of Toni Storm. She could have honestly just took a really good hard look at where she was and said, yeah, you know what? The trajectory, what's going on with this company and where I'm at right now, we ain't matching up. There's a lot we don't know. We got to let everything play itself out. And when she's in a position where she feels as though she's ready to put some information out there, and I think she will, I definitely think she will at a much later date reveal what all's going on if these reports are true. It's good to talk about, though, isn't it? It's good water cooler talk. It really is. Other than that, just thinking if there's anything else we need to get into here on the show. I think we might be done, guys. Let me look here. I think we might be done. We went a little bit longer for you guys, and the main reason why is because little one is sleeping right now. I don't really think there's anything else. WWE Day 1. Let's look at the card real quick. Let's see how WWE Day 1 is looking here. And for those of you that are actually going to be in the Atlanta, Georgia area, I don't have the link, but the State Farm Arena, they are having a hard time filling up that arena. It is so bad that State Farm Arena is publicly advertising they are looking for seat fillers. You ain't got to pay anything. You just got to be a willing body, willing to fill up some seats. That's it. If you got the time, and usually when you hear stuff like this, usually they pay you. So if you're looking to make a couple of bucks for a couple of hours, yeah, y'all might want to go check out the State Farm Arena. And if I do find the link again, I think I got it buried in my phone somewhere. I'll share it on social media and on the YouTube community page for those of you that think you might be in the area and are interested. I'll see if I can share the link. But yeah, State Farm Arena, they're looking for seat fillers. So, you know, you could take that as kind of a bad sign there. But I tell you, one topic that we didn't get into on Monday's show, and we can get into it, if not on this weekend's Wrestling with the Topics, we'll definitely get into it on Monday's show. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about COVID's, at least this Omicron variant, and its impact on the wrestling industry here, because we see it's kind of shaking up WWE a little bit here. But day one happening January 1st, Atlanta, Georgia, State Farm Arena. Let's go there. 7 matches. Kind of looks like a pretty predictable card here. RK Bro taking on Street Profits tag match, Raw tag titles. RK Bro is still on the roll. I don't see why this would be any different. RK Bro all the way. Drew McIntyre taking on Madcap Moss. McIntyre hands down. Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Liv Morgan. This is Act 2, technically, between Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. I would really love for them to go in another direction, and I would really love for Liv Morgan to be crowned the Raw Women's Champion, but I'm not seeing it happen on this pay-per-view. I'm not seeing it happen. I truly believe that Liv Morgan could very well go into this year's Royal Rumble, maybe win the Women's Rumble, go to WrestleMania, become champion that way, or maybe she goes the Money in the Bank route. Edge versus Miz. I keep thinking that Beth Phoenix is maybe going to make some type of an appearance here. I've been calling it for a couple of weeks here. So Edge and Miz. I've got to go with Edge. I can see Maurice trying to do a little something and Beth Phoenix getting herself involved. I could definitely see that playing out. I'm going with Edge. Usos taking on New Day. Tag team match for the SmackDown tag titles. Yo, I'm going with the Usos. Big E defends the WWE Championship Fatal 4-Way. Big E defends against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Lashley. Fatal 4-Way. Big E for the retain. Roman Reigns defends against Brock Lesnar. Taking on Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. How much of a factor will Paul Heyman have here? I would not be surprised if Paul Heyman gets involved in this and tries to get back in the good graces of Roman Reigns and the Usos. I can see Paul Heyman getting in the crosshairs here of Brock Lesnar. Paulie thinking he's doing something good here. Surely he's scoring brownie points with Roman Reigns, and it'll pretty much get him back into the bloodline. But the plan basically backfires. I can see something along those lines happening. Yeah, you would just like to believe that Paul Heyman is definitely going to have something to do here in this match. But when it's all said and done, hook or by crook, definitely a Heyman effect is going to play a big part in this. I'm still going with Roman Reigns for the retain. All right, so one more time. RK Bro retaining Raw Tag titles. McIntyre over Moss. Lynch retains the Raw Women's Championship. Edge over Miz. Usos retain the SmackDown Tag titles. Big E retains the WWE Championship. Roman retains the Universal Championship. Yeah, this looks like a really, really predictable card. If there was one little match I'd put an asterisk by and say could be a swerve, Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan. That could be your swerve. That could legit be your swerve. Not really seeing a swerve. Actually, yeah, I'm not seeing a swerve anywhere else. Not seeing a swerve. Actually, you know what? Edge versus Miz. That could be a swerve as well. Edge versus Miz could be a swerve as well, but really comes off like a pretty predictable card when it's all said and done. Look, match-wise, it should be good. I mean, it should be a very strong, entertaining card, but as far as the outcomes, looks pretty predictable. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll shake it up, but one thing we got to keep in mind is Royal Rumble is going to be going down on January 29th, so WWE is literally going to have about a little over 3 weeks going into the Rumble, so I really wouldn't bank on a lot of heavy shakeups to be going down on this pay-per-view. Nice smart move of WWE to be doing a pay-per-view on January 1st too. It's going to be in the evening. Most people are already going to be home for the night anyway, so it's actually good. It's a smart move. It's a smart move what they're doing. So this Friday's Rampage, we got a TNT Championship match that's going to be set as Cody will be defending it against Ethan Page. Meanwhile, we got a street fight between Ty Conti and Anna Jay teaming up to take on the Bunny and Penelope Ford. Darby Allin will face Anthony Bowens. And Taz is going to have a special little highlight reel where he's talking about his son, Hook's finisher. He's going to be talking about Hook's finisher, the Red Rum. So that should be pretty good. Should be a pretty good Rampage coming up this week. Other than that, I think that's it, y'all. I mean, unless there's something else we should be diving into, I'm going to say let's stick a fork in it. Call this show DONE done. Next show be coming at you guys on, looking at the calendar here. This weekend, we'll be dropping a new Wrestling with the Topics. So check that out. That'll be a free-for-all. And we'll definitely be live after WWE Day 1. So make sure you represent. Check that out. And then, of course, we'll be back on Monday, January 3rd, with your next edition of the RCWR show. Meanwhile, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on downloads, wherever you get your podcasts. As we get ready to close out, definitely I want to take this time out. Thoughts, prayers, condolences, best wishes with the families of everyone that's been lost this year, whether it was to this COVID or, it was just their time or, just whatever unfortunate circumstances might have came to be when that person or persons are no longer among the living. My thoughts, prayers, condolences go out to those respected individuals and their families, their friends, their colleagues. There's a lot of people that we had lost this year, definitely in the wrestling industry, but outside of it as well. Another thing, I definitely want to take this time out and thank the many sponsors. There's a lot of sponsors that we were able to work with this year, and some of them, if you check out the audio version of the show for on demand and on downloads, you've heard some of the ads. Definitely, shout out to all of you guys that we were able to work with. Here's to 2022.
Shout out to every single person that has gone out of their way to check out the podcast for this year. I look at the analytics, and there are certain months I love doing a year by year comparison, and across the whole board, when I look at all the months for 2021 and I compare the audio downloads of 2021 to 2020, I mean, we've pretty much, depending on the month, we've either doubled, tripled, or quadrupled. So for you guys that strongly keep representing and you check out the audio version of the show, mad props to you guys. Love you guys tremendously. To those of you that have gone out of your way anytime this calendar year and you dropped in on the show live, appreciate you guys. A lot of great accomplishments for 2021. Flew for the very first time on a plane. Went on my very first cruise. Got married. Finally, after years and years and years being in a relationship with the same woman, just to finally, let's make this official. Great stuff. Returned to school earlier this year to get my major in broadcasting media, and to be halfway there as far as the credits I need so that I can try to go do an internship with NBC or with WUSA 9. Great stuff right there. Member of the student body council for my school. It's a whole lot of good things. Got a new member of the Sanders household here, and little Chloe. Now, if only Maggie can be a better big sister to her, hopefully that'll come in due time. So very blessed this year. And we're only scratching the surface here. Celebrated 10 years of doing this show. We celebrated officially 10 years doing the show this year. So a lot of great accomplishments that we did this year. We also had reached a 100,000 download milestone for the shows on demand and on the download. So that was great. A lot of great stuff that we were able to accomplish this year, and you guys are at the focal point of all of that. All of that goodness. It wouldn't happen without you guys that have gone out of your way this whole calendar year. Whether you listen at work or you're listening at school, you're on the road or what have you, love you guys tremendously. Thank you. Thank you for continuing to represent. And on that note, I'm going to show myself the exit. I will catch you guys in 2022. Until then, y'all be safe, and most importantly, be kind to one another, and I will catch you guys next go round. Peace, y'all. Take care.